People always ask me, Ed, why you doing this? My answer changes every time. And that's probably because there's so many different reasons why I should be doing this. But one of my main reasons is that I love my people. I'm tired of seeing my people lose. I look around in this neighborhood that I live in, and I see people hustling, going about their day, trying to make ends meet, trying to figure out how they're gonna make it to tomorrow. And I live in this neighborhood that's seemingly like forgotten by society. What's up, Brand? You ready?
What? Do the shooting?
Do the film, yeah.
Late. Called me a little early. Probably gonna do this tomorrow, you don't think?
All right, yeah. I got tied up. But I'm all right now. We're gonna do it tomorrow. We got definitely do it tomorrow.
Yeah, you can do it tomorrow. Do it early tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
All right. When I began this journey, I thought that a good place to begin would be with my son. But his reluctance is something that I found out that I would face often, I would run into often doing this little mission, this little journey. So the next day I just decided to do what I do best. Sit in my car, ride around, look at my people, observe what's going on, how they living. And I found from Wilmington to Newcastle that everything seems the same. I wonder if they know what I know, if they see what I see, if they hope what I hope. I wonder if it's still in them. See, we come from a community that's been largely overlooked. There's been no investment in the people from this community. So now, when we get something like a brand new state-of-the-art library, I wonder if life hasn't beaten our people down to a point that we won't even be able to take advantage of all this opportunity that this library could bring. Do they understand the opportunity this library could bring?
What's up, Ed?
What's happening?
Chilling. How you doing today?
Can't call it.
Another day, man. Another day.
Another day.
Trying to be productive. That's it.
Yep.
Here, man. It's the real deal in the field. It's a beautiful day. I got a lot of idle time on my hands, so I'm just bringing it to you how I'm living. The perception that you might have of me might be wrong, because if you ain't lived or understand what I come through or what I've been through, you wouldn't be able to put a label on it. Because when you've been through something, or you know how that product run, or you know how that situation is, you can be direct. Like, because my life been hectic. If you can sit around and talk about what your perception that you perceive of my life when you don't know nothing about me, or you don't know where I come from, you can't really make a general statement that, you know, that stands that strong coming out your mouth like, oh, well, they're this and they're that. Well, you need to come and see what we come through, or come from, and you'll understand why I am the way I am. And I'm still productive. I come from the worst of it, but I'm trying to do what I can do to make myself better so I don't be a statistic. My life was, to be honest with you, it's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm going to be honest with y'all. My name's Kendall. A lot of people know me. I came up in a household of, it was very disruptive. It was not productive. Mom was an alcoholic, you know what I'm saying? She died, lost my mom when I was 15. Darlene Elizabeth Robertson, rest in peace. Had a pop, he was there. Theodore Smallwood, Teddy Smallwood, everybody know him, rest in peace. Lost my dad when I was 18. It was hard, man. Coming home to a mom that's getting beat on her boyfriend. I gotta be productive. I'm the go-getter at 15. And trying to stay focused in school because I had to learn, you know. But my mom, being the woman that she was a single parent. She gave me the morals and values that make me who I am today, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm stable physically, financially, mentally, and emotionally. And still working on self. But my life, it was sometimes it leave me at a loss of words to be 36 to make it where I am. When you grow up in a household where your mom's using drugs and your dad's not around, you don't got a sister or brother, they're doing their own thing. And you gotta fend for self. So when you fend for self, that means eating, clothing, school, you know. Mom just doing what she doing, taking her food stamps, selling them. I got resort to going to the streets or going to a family member. And what they got going on is no better than what I got going on. So life from 15 to 19, it was called surviving. Surviving is hard when you're a child. You know what I'm saying? And you need a provider. How do you move forward? Trying to survive and understand some things that ain't been taught to you. It's hard. So to be sufficient now, I got almost 9.5 years clean, no trouble, no nothing, trying to move forward and better myself. I can't dwell on a problem, I gotta come up with a solution. And my solution is to stay focused. And this, you know, I want my story to touch another person so maybe they can come forward and give people a general understanding about where we come from and what we come from, because it's hard. It's hard. Back to the youth to show them like I come from the same thing that you come from. You know, if I can disassociate myself from a lot of people, places, and things and begin to know self, then you know it's pretty much it's easy. It's easy. But the first thing we gotta understand is unity. There's no unity. You know, and I don't want to be a statistic. It's a lot of people out here that already stamped us and they put the wrong stamp on us. You know, we've been so oppressed for so long, we don't know how to express ourselves, but unity is the key, you know. If another man hear my story and he can relate to what I went through and what we're going through right now in this next decade, we're trying to live through, I'm saying it should be an easy science, and the science is called unconditional love. That's what we need right now to grow, you know, because, you know, it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard for me right now, but this is for the people that come from where I come from, should I say my peers, my individuals that know me. We gotta come together, man, and be a voice of one, you know, because that can be heard all across the globe, you know, and that speaks for itself. I was around an individual that he's in a situation where he's stable, and he told me, he dropped a jewel on me and was like, man, you out here messing with these guys every day, and when the young brother leave you, he talking about, yeah, Kendall, I love you, man. How he love me, and he don't even take care of his own child. But that's my homie. But a good brother told me, man, if I can leave it alone and put it down, so can you. And the key to that is structure. Structure. And when you got somebody that's behind you called a support group, and you open up, it's gonna work for you. If you keep running around, you're gonna get caught up in this cycle. It's a cycle. If you get caught up in this cycle, when a person try to pull you out, it's like cussing at you. You're so used to living that life, and you're so prone to doing them type of things, we don't know nothing else. And there's a lot of opportunity out here for us. You know what I'm saying? Now in this decade, you gotta get to know self. You get to know self and do a lot more listening. That's my thing right now, a lot more listening. Because right now it's about the youth, our youngins. They coming up. We don't give them nothing. We wonder why they coming up how it is. And that's where we get the label from. That's where we get the label. You know what I'm saying? Especially for people that don't understand what we go through on a day-to-day basis. Education, housing, clothing, you know, kids having kids without the morals, no unconditional love in the household, no family time. So when a person stamps something like that and they have all them morals and values, start helping. Reach out, help. If you see a person that doesn't have that quality or needs to be strengthened, give us a hand. You know, and it starts with inside us first too.
I wonder if the people from the outside looking at us really even want to understand what's going on with us, let alone try. But he's right about one thing. We need unity. sitting in our community, you see people unite over certain things, but I'm not sure if they understand the important things that we need to unite over, the important things that could actually change the directions of our lives and our communities. Then I also look at the pressures that our communities are under constantly. Is that something that prevents us from actually thinking clearly and uniting and being productive? All I know is that it's up to us, not the schools, not the police, nobody. It's up to us. Written in there, and they're supposed to be
enforced.
But you gotta look at what is that the school's real primary interest? Is the school's real primary interest is taking care of?
No, they want that $7,000 per kid.
Exactly. Is it right? It's not that money.
Well,
you look at a lot of these policies and stuff that we got right here in these school districts here. If you pay attention to those policies are designed and written to make it easier for the school.
As a
the zero tolerance, like you can't fight back. So now, if my son is constantly harassing your son and bullying him and kicking him in the butt and doing stuff like that, and your son decides he wants to turn around and he's gonna fight back, both of them getting suspended. How is that really resolving an issue?
right, that doesn't happen in the real world. That would be called self-defense.
But that happens in the schools.
Yeah,
schools just here.
Right.
Because those policies aren't written for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but
the policies are written to make it easier for the school.
The attendance thing is.
But the crazy part is the school, it should not be a loan entity, and that's how they wrote it. They wrote a public entity as a loan entity.
But these are things that kids have to overcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are things that kids face. These are hurdles that they got to jump over in order for them to have any kind of chance. I mean, when you think about your life, what you think?
I think, it went to bad to bad to bad. I never really got caught with doing what I was doing. You feel me? It was just like blessings. It was just given to me.
You never got caught?
Yeah. When I used to sell drugs in school, here and there. Went to DC, had this little phone business thing going on. Making money out there, giving money to my parents because they didn't really have it.
So let me ask you, why was you set? So what was your reason for selling drugs? If you can remember, you know what I mean?
The reason I needed money, you feel me? And they needed money too, and they couldn't really pay for nothing.
Personally,
I
me,
didn't have a big ass house.
I think college is a waste of time, a waste of money. You can learn all of that out here if you think about it. You don't need college. Some people say, it'd be better, but I don't want to be an employer. I want to be my own boss,
Yeah.
Like you, I'm guessing.
If you go to college, you can do that. You can own
And I already got
everything.
trades. I already know a lot of stuff, so.
If you said what now?
I said, if you go to college, you can own everything, for real, if you really put in the work for it.
I think, in a sense, both of y'all right now, as far as you saying,
Yeah, I
it's more than one way to do it.
Yeah, right.
But like, let me touch on something that you just said.
Hold up, but I'm saying though, all you gotta do is graduate. Get your high school diploma. My uncle he has the biggest house in Middletown. He just barely made it out of high school.
But that's one way to do it. You know what I mean? You can do it that way.
Right.
You can do it your way too. Now, when you talk about like be your own man, like me, because I got a shop, you got to understand that really, am I my own man? Do I really have a boss? Who's my boss?
You.
You?
No.
Who's
Y'all people my boss. My customers are my boss. Because I still have responsibility. You know what I mean? Don't think that because you got your own business, you can do what you want. How well the shop does depends on what I put into it.
I get it.
That brings me to y'all. Because how well y'all do in life depends on what y'all put into it. Y'all gotta understand y'all what's stopping you from going to college now, man?
They kind of passed me through. They had tested me, and I had like a 3rd grade reading level, and now I'm up to like the 5th grade now. I'm kind of working it up.
So they just passed you through the school system.
Yeah.
They got a way of teaching you.
He was quiet though. Like,
but when I was little, this daycare lady smacked me in my face. And when I went into school, I was just like, oh, let me stay away. You know what I mean?
When he told me that he got slapped, that kind of stunned me at that point. And I really didn't know how to respond right then. But I took that with me when that meeting was over, and I thought about that all day. And it also triggered some of my memories and reinforced some of the beliefs that I carry, that these kids have so many hurdles and so many things to overcome, that their situation is complex. I had to meet him again later because I had to get into that more, allow him to release or at least talk about it more so I can understand a little more of what's all involved here. I really wanted to meet you back out here because the conversation we had in the barbershop, when you told me about, your experience, it kind of like, it stunned me and it left me like speechless. And while I was in the shop, I didn't really know, how to handle that and where to go with it from there. So we kind of got off, but man, when I got home, I had to start thinking about it. And it brought back more stuff. It brought back stuff from my own experience.
Right.
But you remember how old you was? You was young.
Yeah, I was young. Really, what the story was, right?
It's kindergarten.
No, it was a daycare lady.
So it was before school.
Yeah, it was before school. And I went in, bang. And she was like, "You're not gonna talk to me?" And she just smacked me.
For no reason.
Right.
And it's crazy because for you to be that young,
right,
and for you to remember it, that smack, that incident, man, that had a serious impact. What happened? Like, did you tell your parents, or did someone tell them?
Yeah, I told my parents. I was like, "Dad, the daycare lady smacked me." And all I heard was the car, skirt, turn around. And we went back, tried to get her fired. My mom and dad was mad. They was yelling at her. I just really didn't pay attention because I thought I was going to get smacked if I got something wrong or something. You feel me? I ain't really pay attention.
From that point, you're literally 12 years of school.
Right. And never got held back once. And I didn't know nothing.
Damn. But let me ask you about this. So the smack. Do you ever think about like how if your life would be different or anything like that?
Yes,
if that never happened?
Yes. If that didn't happen, I would probably really be something like, I'd probably have a private jet by now.
That reminded me of something that happened to me when I was in high school. No, I wasn't even in high school. I was in, I think it was junior high school. I must have been like 6th grade or something. The teacher told me to go up to the board. And I went up to the board and he told me to do this math problem. I did it. I'm like, so I did it again. So what I did was I did it a different way. And I came up with the same answer. So I'm like, so he said, "No, that's wrong." He said, "No, that's wrong, erase it." So I erased it. He said, "Do it again." I did it again, and I came up with the same answer. He said, "No, that's wrong, erase it, and do it again." So I got frustrated, and I threw the chalk down, and I walked away from the board. He came down there to my seat where I was at, man. I was a little guy.
Mm.
He snatched me, he grabbed me up, and he basically drugged me back up to the blackboard, and he told me, stand there, do that problem, and you stand there until you get that problem right. Now this is in front of the whole class. So I stood there for a minute and I thought about it, and there was no other way I could think to do that problem. So I looked over at the door, I took the chalk, and I threw it. And I ran past him and ran out the door. So I ran all the way home and I waited for my mom. This is where I was lucky at, because I had like people around me. My mom, she knew the system. She knew what to do. She knew exactly how to handle it. So we went back up to the school. And she went to the principal's office and she told the principal to come around to the classroom. When we went around to the classroom, I didn't want to go in there at all.
Right.
And she knew it. So what she told me, she said, you stand outside here and wait. They went inside, her and the principal went inside with the teacher. Now I'm sitting there, I'm peeking through the door to see what was going on.
Right.
I couldn't hear the words,
But you could see.
but I could see. So I seen my mom go up to the blackboard and I seen her do the problem. She came out with the same answer I got. The teacher stood there. She erased it. She told the teacher, now you go up to the blackboard and you do the problem. He was working the problem out. And when he got right to the part where he had to fill the answer in, he paused. Then he wrote the same answer I wrote. So you see, he was wrong.
Right.
And what he did to me,
Was wrong too.
it ruined, man. It ruined me for school, really, because I was done. See, when you that young, those things, they have an impact on you. And you know they have an impact on you, even though my situation turned out better than your situation did. The fact that I can still sit here and remember everything about that kind of, demonstrates how powerful that moment in my life was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When that dude did that, he took all my self-confidence
Yeah, me too.
completely away from me.
Me too. Like, I was just kind of scared of.
Everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of makes you like this. Like, you be sitting in class, even if I knew the answer,
Right, I wouldn't
say nothing.
Right.
And that shit, and that affects you.
And I sat back and didn't really do nothing.
And see now, well, I mean, you can't blame yourself for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you a kid. And when you're a kid, almost everything you deal with is the first time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't, I hope you don't blame yourself for how you handle it. You know, when you say, I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing either. And it's a lot of other kids out there that ain't do nothing either, that's going through maybe not the same thing, but similar things, and maybe things that's even worse than that. You know, when you're a kid, it's your first time, and it's hard to know how to handle first time, especially when you this big and you dealing with with an adult. But see, you know what? Why I wanted to come back and why I wanted to meet with you, because I don't know the things that you've thought about. I don't know how you view yourself. You know what I mean? When you look at yourself, how do you see yourself? What kind of person do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as, are you confident?
No. I mean, no, I'm not really. I'm not confident. I'm not. I really don't really know anything. For real.
You know more than you think you know.
I mean, I know, but I'm saying, like...
See, man, now I'm not going to sit up and say that is the moment that snatched your confidence. But like when I met you, one of the first things I noticed, I watch, I look at people. And the first thing I notice is how soft-spoken you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you come in the room quiet. You came in the shop, everything quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I noticed all of that. And then when I heard your story, it kind of made me think, okay, he's shy. Either he's shy or it's self-confidence is low. Because you ain't no dummy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You ain't no dummy.
Right.
And for you to be able to come out and tell somebody like me, you ain't even know me.
Right.
To tell me something that's that personal with
Right,
you.
because I really need help. Like, I need help.
Well, even just
And-
recognizing that.
And nobody's really behind me, so it's just like, all right, I gotta try to do it by myself.
And that goes to what we were saying when I was trying to tell y'all that the most important person in your life is you.
Right.
You got to take care of yourself. And that's what I was saying when I was saying that. But you got to give yourself more credit than you do. You know what I mean? You got to give yourself more credit. You got to be more confident in your approach and more confident in what you can do. Because, man, each person on this planet is important. And nobody on this planet is no more important than nobody else. Nobody on this planet is no more important than yourself. So you got to actually be able to start looking in the mirror and seeing that when you look in the mirror. How old are you?
I'm 19.
You 19. So you just getting started on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a lot of things to do, and you got a lot of things that you can do. You got to really believe that you can do it. And the fact...
And the school really just gave me answers. Like, they just gave me answers. I had somebody to sit there with me and do my work.
So think about, okay, just think about all that's happened now, right?
Right.
So ain't nothing you can do about that now.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Like the way things are now is just the way it is.
I wish I could go back.
Don't wish you can go back. Wish you can go forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You take what you got and you use it.
Right.
But you got to start at some point, man. You got to start believing in yourself. You got to start holding your head high. You got to, when you walk in a room, you need to walk in that room like you belong there.
Right.
You need to walk in that room or whatever room it is, just like you got just as much right as anybody else to be there. Now, when I say that, I don't mean in an arrogant manner.
Right.
I mean in a confident manner. Just, you got just as much right as anybody else. You got to believe that. When you shake a person's hand, you shake a person's hand with confidence. When you talk to a person, you look them in the eyes with confidence. When you speak up so they can hear, because you got a right to speak.
Right.
You understand? You got to really believe that there is nobody else on the planet that deserves more than you do. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's like believing in yourself. When I was coming up, I was lucky because I always had people, whether it was in the house or whether it was on the street, that would tell me. The old heads out on the street, get out of here, young boy, there ain't no handshake. Stuff like that. My mom, speak up. I would get popped in the head if I didn't look at people when I was talking to them. When you talking to somebody, when you looking at somebody, when you walking in a room with somebody, you just as good as that person. The important thing is like what I got on my shirt, building bulls. And building bulls is about y'all.
I see.
That's the important thing. So we can sit here and we can put all this on film.
Right.
But I don't want you to think that the stuff I'm saying to you is for film.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying to you is really
real.
For you. And doing this is helping me too. Because the things I say to people are the things that I turn around and I say to myself. You understand what I'm saying? I say to myself because it's a lot of things I was scared to do. Man, I wrote a book. I never thought I could do it. You know what I mean? But once I did it, once I wrote it, now I'm scared, man, somebody gonna read this book and they're gonna think it's stupid. So now I had to get, all of those are hurdles I had to get over.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're gonna face hurdle after hurdle too. But once you start believing in yourself,
People start believing.
People start believing in you.
Right.
But the important part of that is you believing in yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, that's when you can begin accomplishing things. That's when you start seeing things through. And I tell a lot of people, a lot of the, the younger guys, and even people that's my age and ain't doing nothing, because it's people my age that I know that never came out of it. And I tell them, man, you know what? You haven't went out and tried to do nothing. So if you haven't tried to do nothing, you're not. And then you're not going to succeed at anything.
Right.
You got to give yourself the chance to succeed and finish one thing. You succeed and finish one thing, it'll start snowballing, and then everything that you get yourself involved with, you'll start seeing it through to the end. The experience with this guy, this young man, what I want to say was eye-opening for me. But I wonder how many eyes outside of myself were opened up by this experience. Do people understand, again, why these kids are where they are, why we are where we are as a community? Do they even care? I know this young man, along with a lot of other young men, start out already in the hole. We start out as broken people. The only people that are going to repair us are ourselves. So if this is the beginning, it's time for us to lace our shoes up, because it's going to be a long journey. And we got to go into these communities where they're at